All right, welcome to the Explainer, where we break down big ideas. And today, wow, we have a really profound one for you. We're going to dive into a view of reality from Islamic theology, but we'll be looking at it through a very modern, almost sci-fi lens. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a huge question, one that philosophers have been chewing on for ages. Is what you see around you, is it actually real? I mean, is it what it seems to be? Or, and this is where today's perspective gets really interesting, is reality more like a movie being projected, and our own senses are actually what's getting in the way of seeing the full picture?
And that brings us to this quote. This right here, this metaphor is the key to this whole explainer. Think about it. The world is God's motion picture. It's suggesting that reality isn't this solid, independent thing we think it is. Nope, it's more like a film. And we're so caught up in the story, we completely forget we're even watching a movie.
Okay, so if the world is a movie, then what are we? What is this experience we're having? Well, according to this view, our experience is basically a simulation, a divinely coded, super immersive simulation. But hold on, this isn't some sci-fi plot. It's actually a deep theological framework for figuring out why we're even here.
And this simulation, it's not for fun and games. It's described as a hardcore test. It's a platform, a stage, where we're being examined. Get this, every single thing you see, hear, or feel is basically downloaded right into your consciousness. It's a scenario, and the real test, it's all about how you react.
So you might be wondering, how does this whole simulation even work? Well, the framework says it operates using the very tools we think we use to see reality clearly, our minds and our senses. But here's the twist. They aren't windows. They're actually veils.
Yeah, so instead of being like a clean pane of glass you look through, our minds are more like filters. They're like lenses that totally shape and even limit what we get to experience. You know, it's like if you put on purple sunglasses, suddenly all the snow looks purple. Our minds do that to everything.
And this filtering, it's happening on two different levels. First, there's perceiving, that's your five senses, right? They're taking in all this raw data from the world. But then comes the second level, conceiving. That's your thoughts jumping in, adding a whole layer of concepts, judgments, and interpretations right on top. And that just pushes us even further away from what's really there.
And this brings us right back to that movie metaphor. It's so perfect. We get so obsessed with the movie, the plot, the drama, the characters in our lives, that we totally forget about the screen that it's all being played on. And in this view, all that stuff in the world, it's just veiling the one true reality that's underneath it all.
All right, so if our world is a projection and our minds are just filters, it begs a pretty obvious question. Who's running the projector? I mean, who is the operator behind the curtain? And that is the central question this whole perspective is trying to answer. And this is where we hit a really crucial distinction. It's the difference between just general theism and the specific concept of Islamic monotheism, known as Tawheed. The idea here isn't that God created the universe, wound it up like a clock, and then just let it go. No. The idea is that the simulation is being actively rendered every single moment by one continuous operator. So what does that mean for us? It means that what we see as cause and effect, the sun gives light, medicine cures you, that's all just camouflage. It's an association we make. The sun doesn't actually give light on its own. Allah gives lights and just uses the sun as a sort of veil or a curtain for that action to appear through. It's a bit like Pavlov's dogs, really. We're conditioned in the exact same way. We see clouds, then it rains. We see clouds, it rains again, over and over. So what do? We start to associate the two, and we mistakenly start to believe the clouds cause the rain. And in doing that, we totally forget about the real operator who's actually behind both the clouds and the rain. And this mistake, this false association, whether it's thinking the bell makes the food appear or the clouds make the rain fall, it actually has a specific name in this theological worldview: shirk. It's basically the fundamental error of giving God's power to his creation. It's like being amazed by the curtain on a stage and thinking it's the one putting on the show, completely ignoring the actor behind it. So the big question is, why? Right? Why set up this incredibly intricate system of veils and divine camouflage? Well, the answer goes right to the heart of why we're even here in the first place. The whole purpose, it turns out, is a test, a really deep test of faith. It's basically asking us, where are you going to put your belief? Are you going to get distracted by the show, the puppets, and the stage? Or are you going to see past all that and recognize the puppeteer, the one whose hidden strings are actually pulling everything? In this test, it effectively splits humanity into two camps. You've got the people of truth on one side. These are the folks who build their entire lives on faith in that unseen operator. And then on the other side, you have the people of falsehood, who are busy chasing after the illusions of worldly power and wealth, completely mistaking the props on the stage for the real prize. So you see, this completely reframes the whole game of life. It's not about racking up points or collecting stuff. Not at all. It's all about how you respond to the different scenarios you're presented with. Your purpose isn't to chase some worldly outcome. It's to react with faith and do the right thing, no matter what's happening. So what does it actually mean to win this game or pass this test? Well, according to this worldview, it means having a true awakening. It means literally waking up from the simulation and finally seeing reality for what it truly is. And this awakening, it's a total fundamental shift in your entire life's purpose. You stop being results-oriented, chasing success or money or status. Instead, you become command-oriented. Your only focus is on doing what God commands in that specific moment, whatever it happens to be. And this, right here, is probably the biggest takeaway of the whole thing. Real success isn't defined by what you get. It's defined by your intention and your obedience in that moment. It doesn't matter if you end up rich or poor, famous or totally unknown. None of that matters. The only question that counts is, did you follow the command? When you get to that point, it leads to this incredible state of presence, of true consciousness. The noise and chaos of life, that's the movie, it just can't distract you anymore because you're constantly aware of the screen, that underlying reality of God's presence. It's kind of like being in the eye of a hurricane. You're calm and aware, even as everything is spinning wildly around you. And that's our explainer. It's a really deep concept, one that reframes pretty much everything, from our smallest daily struggles to our biggest life purpose. It leaves us with this final thought to really chew on. If every single object and every single event in your life is a signpost, a pointer to a greater reality, what is your life pointing to right now?